Hi guys, my name is Tamara Chambers and this is Tamara Just Saw. Today I am reacting to seeing The Circle, which was a pretty movie with good actors, but no conflict. And I'm alone today. Cody is performing stand-up at HavenCon in Texas. I'm wearing one of his shirts though. He's got amazing merch. This one says Radical Empathy and it's my favorite shirt of all time. So I feel like this movie should have been something that was really thriller-y and that kind of like scared me in a way of not like horror scaring, but just like life commentary scary. And it wasn't. It's a book that they turn into a movie, and you get the sense that there's parts that they kind of skim over that would have been really thrilling in the book. I'm sure, I bet the book was awesome. This wasn't awesome. So the movie is about The Circle, which is a giant corporation that's kind of Google-esque, but if Google Plus had turned into what Facebook is. It's like this social media, but also just internet platform. They do a really good job of that. Like they have fun work environments and good perks, and they throw concerts for their workers, and it's like, yeah, okay, I could see that. That's viable, cool. And then it's revealed that they're kind of going way too far with privacy settings. It's something that is very deep-rooted, scary for a lot of people, especially people who spend a lot of time on the internet, is that your privacy is slowly going away. This just takes it to such an extreme that it doesn't really hit as hard as I thought it would. I thought it would be a lot scarier for me. You know, I feel that way. I'm like, oh, I'm always broadcasting everything I'm doing online by my own choice, but that's what I do, and that's my job. And so a movie about that is pretty terrifying. But this just takes it to the extreme, to the point where she only has 3 minutes to use the bathroom before her live feed is turned back on. So Emma Watson is an employee at The Circle, and she decides to go full transparent, which means that she is always live. And there's billions of people watching her, and it felt very like ultimate vlogger-y. You can see kind of comments popping up, and that aspect of it was cool. I enjoyed the comments that you could see people just watching her everyday life. Very much reminded me of vloggers on YouTube who put everything up all day, every day. And it was very similar to that. But that was pretty much the whole movie, was just that she decided to go full transparent, and that might not be a good thing to do, was the lesson, I guess. It's unclear because there's no real conflict in the film, and then it ends and nothing really gets accomplished, and she's still going full transparent. It doesn't, it didn't really resolve anything for me. Tom Hanks is one of my favorite actors, and he was not in the movie very much. I enjoyed that he was kind of the, you know, the villain of this film. You know, if it's like, oh, it's a bad film, but that actor's in it, so it can't be that bad. I was thinking that. I was like, even if The Circle's not great, Tom Hanks is in it, so it'll still be entertaining, but he's not in it enough to make it entertaining. And then John Boyega, I think, is that how you say his name? From Star Wars, Finn. He was barely in it at all. I was talking to a friend who had read the book, and I guess he's in it a lot, and you could see that. Watching it, you like understand that he should have been in it a lot. It didn't translate that way at all in this film, so you saw him like 3 or 4 times, and they were boring scenes. Emma was really flat in this as well. I think she was fine, like as an actress in like Harry Potter, and she fell flat for me in Beauty and the Beast a bit, but I didn't think it was a total disaster, and this was just like, all right, again, pretty flat. But I feel like that was from the direction to everyone was just kind of flat. There was no like there's no stakes at all. Gillian, I think is her last name. She was good. I enjoyed her. I definitely enjoyed her a lot more than Emma, which is odd. I wrote in my phone notes, I think I like Emma more as a human than an actress. I also wrote, I forgot I wrote this. So she's always being watched, always, even in her sleep, 100% of the time. And I said, but like, when does she masturbate? Because, what? How? Her parents at one point decide to go full transparent too, because her father has MS and they give him free treatment as long as they go full transparent. So it's like this whole family, the vloggers, the ultimate vlogging family. And then there's one scene where they're having sex and everyone goes nuts because they see them having sex, and then they go off the grid. And the parents are like the most sane people, also the most interesting characters, I think, in this film, as they are like bringing up points that no one else is. They're like, oh, I think this is too much maybe. And I don't think that you understand it is, but it is. And yeah, why don't you understand that, Emma? Why? Again, I just don't think it transferred very well to film the way that they handled it. I think I could see this being a really cool, super engaging book, and it didn't cross over for me at all. The relationships in the film also didn't translate well. The point where the parents are like, well, we're not going to be full transparent anymore. She kind of loses her parents there in that moment, and they kind of stop talking to her a bit. But you don't care at all because Emma was so flat the whole time, and none of those relationships were built up. I think the one thing they did really well was portray the way that you're perceived online and the way that everyone has to share everything all the time really well. That was very accurate. There's a point where she reads comments from her like full transparency blog thing. Hi, Wendy. And she gets sad and she feels like a lot of shame from some of them. And there's a point where she shows one of her friends makes chandeliers out of deer antlers, and a lot of people online shame him for being a deer killer, and that's so real too. And so really accurate portrayal of that kind of thing. I wrote, she's reading the comments. Never read the comments. Sorry for yelling, Wendy. I think they wanted it to be way more relatable than it was. I feel like the book was probably a bit more relatable, or at least easier to get into. In the movie, there's a point where they're gonna say that everyone who uses the service has to vote, and they have, like, they know where they're at all times. And it's very, like, I don't know if you guys have heard about this. In the Bible, in Christian belief, there's like a chip that in the end times you get inserted with, and then you're marked, and you can, you know, be followed everywhere, and people can watch you. And it's similar to that in a way where it's just like they have full control over you at all times. And there's some really cool things that are like, yeah, I mean, everyone would already be registered to vote. Awesome, super cool. Some of these things like make sense, but then it's like on the opposite end of that. Some of these things are nuts and are terrible ideas. And it's just too extreme of a thing to where that everyone in this world was on board with it except for like a few select people is weird. Because there would be giant backlash and total people would just like really fight against that if that were the case. So that was a little odd. All in all, I think I'm so caught up on I guess the extremities of it that don't make sense to me, because the movie itself was pretty boring. There really wasn't anything going on at all. I enjoyed watching it. It wasn't like I was mad that I was there. It was interesting, but it wasn't something I don't want to see it again. I think Cody would be pretty upset about it. I did want to mention Bill Paxton was in this, and he was the dad, Emma's dad, and honestly one of the most engaging characters for sure. The dad and mom were really sweet, and I wish that they would have built up their relationship more with Emma. You just didn't care about it at all. But he was great, and he recently passed away, so that was sad seeing him in that, but he was excellent. I feel like it's such an engaging topic. Like, it could have been such a cool thing, but just totally fell flat. So those are my engaging thoughts on that. Gosh, I miss Cody. I love having someone here that I can like talk back and forth with and either agree or you know, kind of debate things with. Is so nice. He'll be back next week. We're doing Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I'm very excited about. I loved 1. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was one of the most fun and well done superhero movies ever. Marvel just hit it out of the park with that one. So I'm really excited to see too. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next week on Tamara Just Saw, and Cody Just Saw also as well. I miss him. Bye!